Let's talk about when you're getting going here. Your first match in the company is October 5th, 1988, Fort Wayne, Indiana. You and Tully are going to get a win over Bob Emery and Tommy Angel. And from there, you're going to keep working these house show loops on your way to the Survivor Series, usually against the Young Stallions, who, believe it or not, one of which is your future tag team championship partner, Paul Roma. And he's tagging with Jim Powers here. He would also work a few times against the Rockers, a very young Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. What are your memories of these early house show loops against the Young Stallions and the Rockers?
Well, there's a very, very big conversation that went down after our first house show match with Roma and his partner, the Young Stallions, Jim. I didn't know there was an hierarchy there. I didn't know there was an unwritten rule, but apparently Vince had told Darso and Bill Eadie that his plans were eventually for Tully and I to work with those guys. So, unbeknownst to us, just working like we'd always worked, and I've expressed many, many times what's the mentality of being a horseman and what makes you a horseman and what was our mentality? Well, our mentality was to go out and take the situation we were given and have the best match possible, period. Well, Barry and Bill didn't want us to have the best match possible with Jim and Roma because of where they were positioned, which was underneath. So when we came back through the curtain expecting someone to say, hey, good match, guys, because the audience got with it, and now I see why. Apparently, guys that were further up the ladder just didn't go out with guys that were positioned lower at that time and have that competitive of a match. So he said, as soon as I came through the curtain, he grabbed me and said, he being Barry, and said, come over here. I said, what the hell's the matter with you guys? You guys are going to work with us down the road. You can't be bumping around for those guys. Well, I saw he wasn't kidding, and Barry and I had never had a crossword. This wasn't a crossword. It was a matter of fact. You want to work with us? We're the top team here. Cut that shit out. You didn't have to tell me but once. We started to figure out how much to sell for which team and who was positioned where and where they were heading with whoever. And it was an hierarchy there. And you kind of had to know where those guys are going or you were going to know how to, no one was going to come up and tell you that. That was a friend that told me, hey, too many bumps. It wasn't somebody from the office. It wasn't, they would let you self-destruct up there. That was just part of the, humor. Sometimes there were so many unwritten rules and so many things going down in that company that were never talked about, but just happened. And so.
Forgive me for being ignorant, but wouldn't there have been an agent who would have smartened you up to that? And clearly they didn't. Who would have been the agent in that era for your matches?
Well, I mean, Jack Lanza was salt of the earth. You had him, you had Rene Goulet, you had Chief. You had a lot of them, but, it wasn't as detailed then because everybody that worked there just about were top guys from another company, another territory. They would just come in, hey, Brainbusters, over 10 minutes, or thumbs down, 10 minutes. And that's all the information you would get. If you wanted more time the next night, you would go ask them. They would tell you. But no, I mean, it was, I don't know if they were even watching the matches sometimes. Who knows? But you would think someone would go, hey, they got bigger plans for you guys. Wasn't that way.